All right, we're back. Told you it was a banger. I don't know if you guys are watching, but we had an incredible oil day today, and I didn't even trade much. I got in. I'm actually waiting on a potential setup here off this moving average to maybe get me short again. I'm not 100% I'm going to take that because I don't know if this move is fully over with yet, but I did get this. I got this second move down here. So I got the, this was kind of like first move, second move, but sometimes you will get that third leg. So that's what I was kind of anticipating there. So I got in right through here and we got this drop down. We actually did two separate trades for a total of $11,160 today. And that probably took me a total of about 11, I think 20, about 18, 20 minutes it took me for that trade. So I don't know if I'm going to get filled. I didn't get filled on it. I had the order at 97.37. Looks like it just hit 21. That would have been another nice little scalper there. But yeah, so I'm going to try to get this over here without showing my account number. But you can kind of see there. Try to get that down further there, but there we are. So all trades, no losses. I mean, it was two trades back to back and they just fired. So you see what I mean? Like I got to get, probably should trade. I have that line there as a dotted line just to differentiate that being the 21 EMA. But I probably should just make it a line again just because it'd probably give you a little bit more accuracy. I wish I would have gotten that trade because look at it go back down. So we might be just coming back in. Like we got these two levels right here. That's where I think it's ultimately probably going to go. Either between, this will be the first target and then target 200 EMA. And you can see why over here. You know, you got some levels and you got some stuff over here. That would have been a great little trade. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing it goes to that level, but that's would be my first target to the downside before, like here and here, before it maybe wants to continue on to the upside. But unfortunately, I didn't get that fill up there. Like I said, it's just open at 37. Maybe it'll get back into that. I don't know. The biggest issue you have here is this cross, and now we're getting a little bit of stabilization here, right? So we already have a 1, 2 with a third little leg down for a new low. And we're holding there. We held once, twice, didn't get there a third time. Tried to get there on just that last candle there, but we didn't quite get there. So let me see if I can move that. Let me just see if I can alter this real quick, just because get it back to a line. There we go. Whoops. Get back in screen. So, I mean, it would have probably, I would have gotten closer, but it still wouldn't have got me there. Is that line, if you get those thick bubbles, sometimes it can be like, eh. But I still probably wouldn't have gotten filled. If we look at this from the standpoint of a fib retracement here, so we take that swing low to here. I mean, I love the fib retracements. We got the 236. Those are always kind of pretty much guaranteed on certain runs. You just got to kind of find where the top is. We also got a little bit of a head and shoulder top on that. So we came down. So 236 sitting kind of right at it right now. A lot of times on moves like this, in intraday moves that kind of, or not intraday, but kind of like come from this overnight swing low, you can expect these, like a lot of money can be made pulling back into the 5.0 and the 618, man. I'm telling you what. Happens a lot. And you can see at the 618, the golden retrace, you got all this support at the golden retrace over here, right? So that golden retrace is a really, really good target a lot of the times. Not all the time you get there, but it's also sometimes a good golden retrace you can buy. Take a little flyer there. I like buying at the 786 retraces more so. But if we look at the hourly chart, I'm just looking at it. I'm not going to bring it up on this chart, but the hourly chart on this morning, we made a lower high. So we keep making lower highs here. So the lower high from before was 102.09. This morning it was 98.77 on oil, and it's kind of indecisive on the MACDs down here. We did get the good thing. The long case at this moment for oil is it's trading above the EMAs, and we're firmly nice and high up over the 200. And we've been over the 200 here now. We had a slight dip back on February 26th. So kind of right before all this stuff started to ramp up in Iran. And now it's just kind of off to the races here. We did hit that 119, that 119 level on oil. Let me go back 1 week. So if we look at that, oil highs, if we look back in the 09 crisis, 08 crisis, oil spiked and hit 244. So we're not anywhere near, and it came down and then it kind of sat around that 150, and now it just kind of, we had the low in 2020, obviously during COVID. So 120 isn't too bad, but if this thing, and I said this in the video yesterday, I don't think we're going to get these crazy high prices. But if we do, if shit really goes sideways, and I'm not saying it can't, because we haven't seen 120 oil since 2022. And we didn't even see it then. So last time we saw 120, 118 was the bottom of the retrace back in the 2009 all the way through 2014, where it kind of just sat in that range. But that was the very, very, very bottom of the range, right around 118, 120. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not gonna. Let me bring this down. So here's the weekly chart of oil, right? So here's what I was talking about. So here's the 09 crisis, 08, 09 crisis, the push and then the drop. But, if you look back too, unfortunately, this doesn't go back. It only goes back to the 80s. But if we look at oil, here's what I was talking about right here, right? The bottom of this trough after the spike drop, we're kind of sitting right. We kind of just hit that low. And that's the beauty of levels, right? Came right to that low from after that push down in the right after the kind of coming, 08 spiking, crisis happening, boom, down. So, oil's been very steady for the last, since that last time it kind of hit $100 a barrel here, 100, 104, it's kind of come down and just been steady. But obviously world events like this are going to rock it a little bit. So, anyways, that's that on oil. But like I said, man, the oil trade right now is absolute fire. It's just so good. And you can see here, look at, we tried to hit that. And just unfortunately, my order just didn't get filled. I'm going to cancel that order so I don't end up leaving it in accidentally and closing my platform, which I've done before. um, so yeah, so you know, I would just keep an eye on this, on a daily basis, so to speak. If you're trading it or not trading it, you can kind of look at that chart, that CL chart, to kind of get an idea of where gas prices are going to potentially head. But I think, like I said, once we get a handle on Hormuz and this thing kind of starts to hopefully wind down, there's a lot of different information out there that I'm looking at right now. So the next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be really key and really pivotal. If we put boots on the ground, it may get even dicier. So you got to really keep your eyes on all this. I mean, if you're trading and doing this kind of stuff, but yeah, like I have a feeling now, just looking at this is slightly improving here. We're going to have to try to burst up through these EMAs to try to retake these highs here. But I don't know. Like I said, you just kind of have to wait and see. But it keeps failing there. So I would like to see these three, you notice how too, you pull that fib, look at where the 382 is sitting, right at that level, bam. Right at the level. And then you look where the 618 is sitting, right in all this little construction area, I call it. An area of construction, right? What are they doing? They're just building, right? They're building and building and building. It's kind of sitting, going, okay, what are we going to do with the price? What are we going to do here? Boom, and sure enough, they rip it to the upside. And look at the spike, head fake, bam, back up. That's the other stuff you have to be wary of, especially on these. That's why I always say buy near a moving average. Wait for it to come back to these. I use the 20 and the 50 and the 200. So I'm kind of like buying or selling off the EMAs, right? You buy off that EMA, boom. You wait for it to come back. It didn't quite hit the EMA, but boom. Same thing here. It didn't quite hit the EMA, but we got a nice big downside rip all the way back to where you're getting a little bit of a, you're getting this little support level built out right here, right? So, anyways, I am doing coaching on this. It's just straight up coaching on levels, how to use Fibonacci, and talking about levels and candles and all this stuff. So this is the tried and true way to really trade, and also talking about price action pullbacks, because that's really, you can apply that to different time levels too, right? Let's just go in here. If you're looking down on the 1 minute time frames, and there's a lot, I trade time. There's so many different people that trade price action differently than I trade it. You're going to see here where it just can look differently. That's why I like trading on the higher time frames. I used to trade and scalp down here on the 1 minute and the 15 minute, but it's just kind of, I don't like it as much. Just because it doesn't give you as good of a, to me, it doesn't feel, I used to be very, very, dude, I would trade the 15-second time frame. And I would look for different things. I got a double RSI strategy that I use for that kind of stuff. I don't really use my double RSI strategy for this kind of trading where I'm trading 5 minute and above. Just because I find it, it's hard to really get the buys. It's nuanced with it, but I really like I've always used the MACDs too, and I love the MACDs. What I love about the MACDs is the crossovers, the double MACD, different time frame movings. Boom, when you're getting it in there, you're looking for shorts, right? And now this is kind of improving, so it's really kind of suspect on what you kind of want to do right here, because we keep wanting to pop back up. This is really holding support. You got 1, 2, almost 3, 4 support area holds. So is this going to kind of be the new shelf per se? I don't know. Hard to say. You kind of just have to wait. When the market starts going sideways like this a little bit, again, you don't want to be taking trades in the wrong area. But again, this is a 1 minute time frame. You go down to the 15-second, it gets even noisier, right? So let's pop back into the 5, put that back to where it is. So that's the last probably for quite a while here now, at least a year, I've been like really focusing on these higher time frame trades, and it's just been much better, like from a stress standpoint, of managing trades, and not being so like taking less trades. Like today, I did 4 trades, but 2 were in the same. Like I bought a certain chunk and then another certain chunk, and then did that twice, and that's how ended up getting 11,100 on 2 separate tranches of trades. But I put 4 total trades in. Each trade, a 1 and a 2 lot buy, got a winning trade, and then that second trade was the banger, because the first trade I think I did like 3,500 or so, and then the second one was this big push here. Like I got some of this push, and then I got this big push down, and that was what really kind of took me to the races. I think if I can go back here and look, no, I mean I can break it down later, but I'm not going to look at it at this moment. So, anyways, there's a little bit of CL today. Like I said, $11,160. Not in that's all commissions. My commissions were $240 in commissions. So yeah, pretty good. So we'll see here. This thing may fall off into this level, maybe into this level here. We'll see. Again, 20 EMAs are sometimes really good buys too, or sells. In this case, it would be a short. What you want to see too is, like, I love when this is all in the red and stays in the red, you just know that you're going to be, when you have the double red line up like this, it's good, and it's still pushing in a downward histogram direction. When you start to see this, it starts to slow. So what are they going to do here? Are they slowing the momentum to suck people in to think it's going to go long, or are they going to take this down into the retraces of the 38250 and potentially even the 618? So that's the kind of mindset you have to be thinking about when you're doing this, and that's why you don't want to be like, oh, they're going to drop it from here. You'd rather buy it up here or sell it up here if you're going to sell it. Don't try to dilly-dally and diddle in the middle, because it always ends up bad. So anyways, see you guys.